I'd like to consider myself a tough guy, although I'm not. Every man wants to act like he's macho or bigger than the next guy. I guess the reason why I don't ever get into fights or anything like that is because I'm so damn tall. I just look like a mean guy. That's what I've been told. I don't know, but... Anyways, why I'm saying this is because, in reality, in some terms, I would be called a pussy by other people, other men, because I see things that break my heart and bring tears to my eyes, especially when I see animals suffering. It doesn't have to just be animals. God knows that I've shed a tear more than one time for human beings that suffer around the world, mostly just for greed. But then I see animals who, as they're brought up by their mothers, they're trained how to avoid and escape all their predators that are after them. They have so many things that they have to worry about, and yet a mother deer can never teach her doe or her kid or her fawn how to understand what a car is. Recently I was on a trip and I was with my little road buddy, and we had stopped at one exit. I had stopped because I had to get off and figure out where the heck I was. I should have just listened to Google Maps, but I got off and I took a look at it, and he had his face buried in his phone. When I went to go get back onto the highway, I got onto the on-ramp. I saw something as I was coming around the corner, but I didn't think it was alive. But it was a beaver, and he was alive. He was trying to use his front paws to pull himself out of the road, off the ramp. His back was probably just gone. I reached over and I put my hand over my buddy's face. He still doesn't know about this, but I couldn't decide what to do. I would normally try to stop and see if there was something I could do, or even put it out of its misery. I always thought that that's what I would do. I've done that only twice in my life, but to animals that were very far gone. And something about me just kept pushing the gas pedal, and I just kept going right past this animal. Part of me didn't want to stop and do it because he was with me, because things don't always go according to plan. I read a story once about a man who found a deer that had gotten hit by a truck, and its front legs were still usable, and was trying to pull itself away, trying to get back up. And the man said that he usually had a gun on him, but he didn't have it at that time. He called the police, and the police came, and they sent the deputy that didn't know how to shoot. And the deer had gotten accustomed to the man within the hour that he was sitting with him, to know that he wasn't trying to hurt him. But this deputy shot once and missed, shot again, hit, but didn't kill the deer. And now this poor deer was in just pure terror, I would imagine, not understanding the situation whatsoever. The man got very upset and left, but things can go wrong. I'm a big believer in letting nature take its course, and I have a saying of don't get in the way of the ant. I once was trying to help an ant escape the clutches of a spider, and by putting my foot down, the ant turned directions. As I went to lift my leg up, my foot up, I squished the ant. So I try not to get in the way of it. But it's different when it comes to animals falling prey to other animals. That's just part of it. But we have introduced so many things to this planet that just needlessly kills millions of animals, if not billions, a year. We all see dead squirrels. We all see the seagull that just had to have that french fry in the middle of the road. But that beaver was just doing his thing. And if he was on the on-ramp, whoever hit him had to have known he was there. You're not going very fast on an on-ramp. But I can't judge that person, because maybe that person just didn't know either. Should I stop? Maybe they had a car full of kids. It's not easy to get out and try to take its life. You can't just walk up to a deer and try to slit its throat, no matter how many people tell you that they've done that. It's not that easy. Every animal will fight for its survival just like we will. If we were laying on the ground with a gunshot wound and somebody came up that we didn't know and didn't know they were trying to help us, we would do everything within our power and strength that we had remaining to stop it from happening. Some animals you can just walk up on and snap their neck, but even that's not easy. Nothing is for sure, and that's the hardest part about it. Is you think, well, I'm just going to go up and slit its throat, or I'm just going to go up and shoot it, or I'm just going to go up and do this, but God forbid you don't do it right the first time. Because just like you lying on the ground with that bullet hole, you'd be terrified. I see all the suffering in this world, whether human or not, and it does make me a pussy, because I do cry. I think maybe there should have been a different way. There could be a different way. I think of these animals and their suffering, and you just don't know. They don't understand. Now listen, animals get attacked by other animals and literally eaten alive. I've seen it. I've seen hawks take squirrels and just eat them while they're still alive. I've seen it on plenty of videos and Animal Planet and such. And I'm not saying that's right either. I blame the creator for that design flaw, but I don't know. But when it comes to natural order, that's one thing. When it comes to human intervention, it's another. When we're just too busy looking at our cell phones while doing 65 miles an hour in a 40, how can you not feel bad for the animal? I think about that beaver. I have thought about that beaver every day since I got back last week. And then I think about all the other animals that I've seen in pain and suffering, and how I either couldn't do anything for it directly, or I used the excuse of letting nature take its course. I think about Grace dying alone. The things that we've done, the things that we've created and invented, it makes it all better for us, supposedly, but it makes it so much worse for everybody else. I sit here in these parking lots and I just watch all these people driving around. They're all in a rush to go nowhere. Every car drives by, every other one. Somebody's looking at a cell phone. They're not even paying attention to the road, including police officers. And I watch little squirrels run out on the road, and I pray as I'm sitting here that they won't get hit. I could care less if the car swerves because he's looking at Twitter into a telephone pole. Maybe I'm an inhumane pussy. If a bird flies out in the middle of the road, try to get a french fry like a seagull does. I love seagulls, but the seagull shouldn't have done that. If a guy smacks into a telephone pole and hurts himself or worse because he was looking at his cell phone while driving, he's just as dumb as the seagull, and I don't feel bad for him. Actually, I feel bad a little bit for the bird, because the bird has known and learned that french fries are delicious because we keep feeding them that. The idiot on the phone should have known better. But when it comes to that one little squirrel that runs out in front of that guy in that truck looking at Twitter, that squirrel is just doing what that squirrel does. And he's going to suffer slowly because of man. All because some guy had to go buy something to bring home and put on the shelf next to all the other things that he's bought that he never uses. All because something on Twitter or YouTube or whatever the hell you're looking at was far more important than looking at the road and making sure that, one, you don't hit a child, and two, you don't hit a defenseless animal. Before I made this audio, I was bawling my eyes out thinking about that beaver. And then I said, well, maybe if I talk about it. It's funny is now that I'm sitting here talking about it, I'm no longer sad, I'm more pissed off. One of the greatest gifts I've been given is introspection, and how to realize the way my thoughts work and what's really behind them. And when I think about the times that I'm sad or even mad, I realize most of the time what's behind that is stupidity and ignorance, whether my own or the world's. So I may be a pussy for crying when I see an animal dying on the side of the road, but it takes a real man to understand ignorance. I love you all. Slow the fuck down.
Until next time, my friends, I ask all people everywhere to plant seeds of love, peace, joy, and oneness.